the way you can get through becoming stronger in all facets of your life, in relationship, in partnerships, in friendships, in business, in improving your skills. It's actually participating in the 75 Hard program. It's quite difficult, but I'll share some of my experiences and my thoughts on the actual program itself. To jump straight in, you need to follow a diet, and the diet itself can be anything of your choice.
Welcome to Divorce Down Under, the Aussie way, where a regular guy like me, Matt, will help you navigate a fresh start following a divorce. After experiencing a divorce and going through all sorts of emotions, I hope to bring you the right tools and advice so you can set up a better life after divorce. Hear from experts and people like you who have lived it, sharing insights so you may find peace in a new beginning.
Hi everyone, welcome to another show of Divorce Down Under in Australia. I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying this beautiful weather, or at least it is on the Sunshine Coast. So for anyone that doesn't know, we aim to provide tips on all things related to relationships, whether you're in one or going through a divorce. If you're new here, I've been separated for about 5 years. I've been through a lot, I guess you could say, but I've come out of the other side and I'm in such a great space. So some weeks I'll have guests join me on the show, and others I'll share tips on how to stay married or even get through a divorce or whatever it is on my mind. If you like what you watch, please share or subscribe. It'll always help. And hey, who knows, it might help someone out there as well going through some kind of separation or even stay longer in a relationship. It's not all just about divorce. It's not just about how to get a divorce or at least get through a divorce. Let's face it, we don't jump into relationships to separate or divorce. So our focus will also be on, how to stay in relationships, or at least even better still, how to prepare for relationships. I have a beautiful 10-year-old daughter, and I'd like to know that, one day when she finds herself in a relationship, that she stays in it long term. I'm lucky to have parents that have been in a relationship for 52 years. I thought 54, and she picked me up on that. My parents picked me up on that quick, smart. And, in the next couple of weeks, I plan to have them both on the show and others like her. And I'd love to share, some of their wisdom and if you like to call it, tips on how they've stayed in a relationship for 52 plus years, something I wanted to do but never did, but that's life. So in this episode today, I'm going to talk about what I found really helpful and through going through a separation, and actually not even just a separation. Now that I've actually moved on from, the separation itself, or at least the parts that are quite difficult in separation, is I actually discovered through watching a video on YouTube, 75 Hard. And it's a program that was developed by Andy Frisella in America. And I think there was a lady that was talking about how she quit alcohol, and a part of the 75 Hard program, it actually, one of the steps are that you can't drink alcohol. So what I thought I'd do is at least introduce you to 75 Hard. And the reason I thought it would be good is because it actually teaches you to become mentally tough. So one of the things, I guess it doesn't really matter if you're separated or divorced or in a relationship or not in a relationship, having mental toughness is something that has taken my skills and my success to another level. Not necessarily from a business point of view, but from a personal point of view, it's been really great being able to have what I think is improved mental toughness. And I've been able to, as a result, build better relationships with my daughter, my friends, my partners, my family. So yeah, I thought 75 Hard would be something good if you hadn't heard of it to introduce to anyone that watches the show. So go to, if you haven't tried, go to 75hard.com And it should redirect you to Andy Frisella, who is the person that actually came up with or at least created the program. It's free. And I think if you listen to his podcast, Real AF, and I think you can get it on Spotify and all good sort of audio podcasting and YouTube programs, you'll actually learn in, I think it was episode 2008, he talks a lot about it. If you have any health dietary problems, I'd 100% advise going to see your doctor. And in any case, I would recommend everyone going to see their doctor and letting them know they want to, jump onto this program, or at least get advice from an expert on, taking the program. So 75 Hard it's not a program in the sense that it's like a diet program. It's actually something that you come back to every single year. So it's not something where you do a 13-week diet program or a 13-week fitness program. It's actually something you come back to every year, and it's a part of what he calls the Live Hard program. But what I want to do in this particular episode is just focus on 75 Hard, and I'll also give you some other ideas on how to get through 75 Hard. So let's just dive straight on into what exactly 75 Hard is. And there are rules when it comes to 75 Hard. So the idea is it's all about building mental toughness. And I think the way you can get through becoming stronger in all facets of your life, in relationship, in partnerships, in friendships, in business, in improving your skills, it's actually participating in the 75 Hard program. It's quite difficult, and I managed to get through the 75 Hard, but I'll share some of my experiences and my thoughts on the actual program itself. So to jump straight in, you need to follow a diet. So the diet itself can be anything of your choice. So you don't have to go down the path of following a keto diet or some special diet. You can actually, in fact, follow a keto diet if that's what you want to do. And I think the reason I like the program is Andy Frisella says that he's not going to advise a diet or that you need to follow, because everyone is so different. And I agree with that. They're all on different journeys. So it's something that you need to actually choose yourself. So as an example, I decided that I wanted to follow a program that involved fasting. So I would actually not eat breakfast, but I would eat lunch and dinner. And that way I had around about a 12 to 14 hour window where I would not eat. And then I would obviously eat lunch and dinner. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I just wanted to give my body a break from, not eating food constantly. Since then, I've actually shifted. I eat less. Well, actually probably I eat more. So I've shifted around now where when I do 75 Hard again. So I actually did it in November. I don't know why I did it in November, because I actually went straight through from Christmas into the Christmas period, the festivity periods. And it was difficult to actually do, I will admit, because you can't, as you'll learn, you can't drink alcohol. You can't have any cheat meals through desserts or anything like that. The idea is the 75 Hard, and I should start again, is that 75 Hard is the program actually starts from day one and finishes on day 75. So the idea is you must complete the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps or tasks or power lists, which I'll introduce you to later, is what Andy likes to think of them as. The list is what he calls a power list. And those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps in that list are what you must follow without compromise for 75 days. So the first one in that one is what I started to touch on, is the diet. And choose any diet of your liking and stick to it. You can use apps where, you can record what it is you're doing and what diets you want to follow. But again, I kept it pretty simple. And I basically just stuck to a healthy diet that was predominantly vegetarian, but with meat. And there was no strict rules around, how that looked. I just had to miss breakfast and, eat lunch and dinner every day for 75 days. So again, the first step is follow a diet. This can be a diet of your choice, but it must be structured, planned, designed with a physical improvement in mind. Something I didn't mention. It must have some kind of physical improvement in mind. So it must be healthy. The second step to the 75 hard is you must complete 2 45-minute workouts. And one of those workouts must be outdoors. So as an example, and it also states that when you do the second workout, when you do the 2 45-minute workouts, they can't be back to back. So for example, you're not supposed to do a walk for 45 minutes in the morning, let's say at 6 o'clock, and then straight after that, go to the gym. You're supposed to actually mix them up and say, for example, you might actually start a workout at, let's say, 4:30. So you might actually go for a walk outside, and that might be a 45-minute walk. And then later on the day, it might be 9 o'clock, or it might be nighttime, or it might be lunchtime. You'll go to the gym and you'll go and do an indoors workout. You can also have 2 workouts outside. So you could have a walk in the morning and you could have a workout outside. So you might do some free weights, body weight exercises. At the beach, they've got these gym bars and all that sort of stuff, push-ups. You might do something like that. So it doesn't have to be one indoor, one outdoor, but it does have to be one outdoor. So whether it be rain, hail, or shine, you're supposed to run, walk, jog, whatever it be, every single day for 45 minutes outside, which I did for 75 days. And I was pretty proud that I did it. And in my case, I would actually walk. I have a 10-year-old daughter, so I needed to be prepared to have her with me. So she would come. We usually walk every morning for about 23, 25 minutes with our dog. But what we decided to do this time is we had to extend our walk. So we went a longer walk, and we'd have to start usually about 5:30 in the morning, and that would take 45 minutes. And I would time myself. But once I timed myself a few times, we knew that's what the walk was. And something I do advise is actually before you even start the 75 hard, I'd strongly recommend having what I call is prep days. So I think me being a digital marketer as well with my day trade is something that we do a lot of, at least I do, is we do a lot of preparation. So it's not just about the writing and posting. It's actually more about the prep work. So what I mean by that is if I was going to start the 75 hard new, I would actually, I would give it a couple of days where you actually look at what it is, understand what it is, and then just give it a test run. So something that I didn't do is, there are water components to it, is get yourself prepped to everything that you need. Write down what it is your actual, diet's going to be for 7 days, and then roll them over every 7 days for 75 days. So prep what you want to do, figure out understand what each of the steps are in the program, and give it a trial for 2 days. So in other words, I actually failed. I didn't do this, and I failed in the first 2 days because I got the walks wrong. Well, I felt and in the end, I'm only cheating myself if I didn't do it. I was about 7 minutes too short and I didn't do it. So I would suggest is just doing a couple of days where you prep and you go through the list and you get it right, and then you start, because you don't want to get sort of 10 days in and have to start. Because one of the actual components to 75 hard is if you get to day 5 and you, let's say, because we're talking about the actual diet itself, you eat a little donut or a piece of a donut or a little lolly, you have to go all the way back to day 1. If you get to day 70 and you eat a little lolly or you have some sugar and you shouldn't have had that in your diet, it's all the way back to day 1. So it's basically having to stick to the tasks of 75 hard in that program for 75 days. And you'll understand why, because it's quite difficult. You'll go through different stages of the program where it actually is quite difficult. and you'll feel yourself change. Like the first 2 weeks is a bit hard to adjust to. Well, it's actually very hard to adjust to. And you kind of feel like the first week was my hardest because actually, no, the first 2 weeks, now that I think about it, were actually easy. It was actually the third and fourth weeks. I was over the 45-minute walks. I was, especially it was raining. We had some rainy weather. I was the gym every single day because I have to go to the gym every single day. So for 75 days, 45-minute workout, 45-minute gym workout. So I decided to not go to exhaustion in my gym workouts, but it was quite difficult for me in week 3 and week 4. But yeah, you'll go through different stages, especially with the diet as well. I think in week 4, actually, I remember being around people and having donuts and snacks and being so close to grabbing something myself. But, the day or two after, I was pretty proud of the fact that I didn't do that. And I should say after the program, you feel completely different. Like I would walk around in the streets and I just felt like mentally I was at a whole new level. And I still do to this day. I feel like people I went to an event today. There were people that were around, people that I know. You could just tell they weren't in a good headspace. And I just felt like I was different in a positive way. It's hard to explain. And if you haven't done it, I 100% recommend doing it. And people that say they can't do it, they're the kind of people that need to do it. So if you're saying to yourself you can't do it, you need to do this program. Well, in my eyes, you do, because I did say I couldn't do it and this would be too hard and I've got a daughter and it's not possible. And I kept asking all these questions and then I did it. And I'm like, it was just the best feeling ever. From a mental aspect, it's changed, it's improved. And for me personally, so, I need to do it again. I know that for a fact. And being a part of the Live Hard program, there's some extra tasks that are added on it. So you do your first 75 days and then there's another 30 days and another 30 days. So it's not just 75 hard. It's a part of a yearly program, which is Live Hard. So the diet itself, pretty self-explanatory. Set something and stick to it. Stick to something that has, the plan itself, the meal itself, whatever it is you have structured, is designed in a way with physical improvement in mind. And the third step in that is absolutely no alcohol or cheat meals. So completely no alcohol at all. No alcohol or zero alcohol drinks, obviously fine, but not even a sip, not even a drop of alcohol over the entire time. No cheat meals. So if you've determined this is what your structured plan is and you're going to stick to that for 75 days and you break that, by having something that wasn't in that structured plan that you agreed to yourself, then that's cheating. And you got to go all the way back to day one, which is, it's tough, but you'll thank me for it at the end of it, because it's just 100%, 110%, changed me, for the better. And then the fourth step is to take a progress picture every day. So the idea is I had a tripod, set up. My phone could sit on it, and every single morning I would have a habit of, when I came back from my walk, taking a picture. And the idea is you are going to see progress in your physical improvement. I did, and it's something that you might feel uncomfortable at first, is taking a photo and looking at yourself and all that, because I'm not into taking photos of yourself, and I struggle doing these kinds of videos, and watching them back again, let alone taking a picture of myself with just my shorts on, my top off. And the idea is you're able to look at day 1 to day 75, and it's just so rewarding looking at the achievements and, where you've come from this day to that day. And so take a progress picture every day. And I would suggest getting a plan where, like I did, is setting it where you're going to do it every day at that day. Because what actually I find I didn't do this in the first 3 weeks, and I nearly slipped up. I got into bed, and I think Andy Frisella talks about this as well. And it was like, I think at about 11 o'clock, and I was already in bed for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'd realized, crap, I didn't take the photo. So if I'd gone to bed the next day, gone to bed that night and woken up, I would have had to have gone all the way back to day one, and I was 3 to 4 weeks into that. So then I decided what I'll do is, and this is what I talk about, getting a strategy, getting a plan in place, is to go for my walk, and straight away from my walk, when I come back when I was warm, is I'd take a photo. And it literally just created a folder on my phone that said 75 hard. And the idea was to, I just saved that photo to 75 hard. The next one is drink, which I actually absolutely struggled with, is drink 1 gallon of water. So 1 gallon of water is about 3.78 liters. I meant to actually have a picture of the water. What I did, again, I wasn't organized. I had it, water bottles. I had this size, and it was like so difficult to actually figure out how much I was drinking. And then I actually bought an actual 1 gallon bottle of water, and I would fill it up with water the night before, and then it would be ready the next day. Or in some cases, I would do it in the morning because it was quite hot. In winter, I'd actually probably advise filling it up the night before, so in the morning it's not freezing cold. And you literally have to, so for example, if you go up 4:35, even 6 or 7, if you're later than that, you have to start drinking just to achieve your 1 gallon water that day. Personally, all my biggest problem is I could actually drink it, but I would wake up about 3 to 4 times a night, and I was just going to the toilet. It was just a nightmare. And I personally think, as much as I'm not going to stick to a gallon of water, I think everyone should try this program once, and they should try the program as it is. But again, obviously taking advice from experts on whether or not, you're able to do, complete all of these tasks is, I'll probably next time around, stick my 75 hard. The only thing I will change is the water to be 2.5 liters. And he does say if you make any changes to it, then it's not 75 hard. I'm fine because I'm a changed person. It's actually got me into habits now. And I think the water part isn't my major issue because I'm drinking water every day. And the other thing about these steps is that the whole idea is to get our focus back on eating healthy, working out, not having alcohol in excess, not having desserts and food in excess, making sure that you're aware of your physique and your body and the changes, which is the photo itself, drinking water every day. And the next step of the program is reading 10 pages of a book, which I'm pretty bad at. I can sit down and watch a video, a learning video, audio podcasts and all that sort of stuff. But you must read 10 pages of a book every day. And it cannot be audio, podcast or a YouTube video. It has to be 10 pages every single day. And that's something that I've got myself into really a bit of a habit now, which is great. And that's the whole idea of it, of the 75 hard. It's teaching you mental toughness to actually get back to basics and start looking after yourself. Start following, at least a good diet 5 days a week. Start working out at least once a week, every day, at least. I'll work out now. I usually go for my 23, 25-minute walk with my dog and my daughter, and then I'll do a workout either before or after. And that's a 45-minute workout in the gym. And I just love it. It's nothing that I need to think about. It's just a habit. And the alcohol, well, don't drink alcohol. I've cut back to the point of 0. And cheat meals, well, because I'm doing so much exercise, I actually get away with cheat meals because I'm not putting on weight. And yeah, the picture, I don't do that now. Obviously, I only did it in the program, and drinking water is obviously important. And reading 10 pages is crucially important as well. So Andy Frisella, that's Andy Frisella there. If you're looking at his website is, if you're listening to this on audio, his website is andyfrisella.com. So it's ANDYFRISELLA.com. And if you go to his podcast, he's not shy. He's opinionated. he's an excellent businessman, and that's probably one of the areas that I follow him in. Um, he'll talk about all different topics, and I think he's not for everyone. Got different opinions, but from a 75 hard perspective, if you just want to listen to that, go to episode 208, and it's free, and they'll teach you all about it. One of the things I would also suggest is you don't need anything. You can there are so many books and PDFs online that you can actually find 75 hard steps where you can follow. But the app, when I got it, was only about $4. It's now $11.99 Australian. It's actually really good. And the app itself tracks your daily 75 tasks. So you can actually tick them off every day and take a photo, and it stores it for you. And I completely, I actually recommend it. Like $11 doesn't cost much, and he's not making a fortune out of the actual app itself. And it's yours to keep to continually use over and over again. And what it has on there, when you finish the 75 hard, it actually has the Live Hard program on there, which I won't go into. I'll use that for another episode. But the Live Hard program takes it to, I'll explain it in short. You add extra tasks. So you have to have a cold shower. You have to double your list to 3, extra lists, your reading and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, the 75 hard I recommend. Then there's the actual power list itself, which is at the end that once you finish the 75 hard program, you'll realize that there is what he calls the power list. And the power list is something that I've adopted into my personal and business life. And it's basically executing on daily lists. And for example, you actually might have, once you come off the back of the 75 hard program, you still might keep in there, read 10 pages of a book, 45-minute exercise a day, eating healthy 5 days a week, not drinking alcohol, etc. If they're habits you're not doing, then you can put them on the list. And once you get them, it doesn't need to be like some people say 34 days is for a habit. Well, that isn't always the case. For example, I did the 75 hard and then I lost some of my habits, and it was 75 days I did it. So there proves a point that it's not that it's going to stay, some people say 35 days and then it's a habit. That's not true. Everyone's different. So I think the good thing about the power list that Andy has actually, the book there, is that that's it there. So what you'll do is, I think I've got a copy here actually. So for example, you can see there's a copy there, and I'll write whether you win or lose each day on the power list. And the reason it was helpful for 75 hard is I was able to use this as well. But in the 75 hard, I use the actual app mostly. But I might write, for example, because I wanted to get into the habit of getting up early. So on this day, I wrote rise at 4:10 a.m., gym at 4:30. So I'm not too far away from the gym. Walk Sky at my dog at 5:30. Read a book, and I would read 2. So I wanted to read 2 of them. And it would be, one would be business development and another one would be personal development. And then if I had achieved those, I would put a tick next to the names and I would write down what I'd written. And on each of the days, in this particular day, he's got a little quote there and it says, what are you doing to make yourself comfortable in the short term? What are you doing to make yourself comfortable in the short term is killing your potential in the long term. So it had all these nice little quotes. And you could write notes on the page there as well. And once you felt you were going to the gym every day, you were reading your books every day, you would remove that on the list and you would then potentially incorporate more business goals. An example might be contact 5 or 10 people that are warm leads in your business that because that's going to move the needle to your success. And then another one might be, from a personal perspective, might be create a vision board and stay aligned to that vision board, which is something that I did. So that's the power list itself, which some people might want. And the reason I introduced that is some people might want the app and they might go the book option instead. And you can actually write these down in saying that there's only 5 lists there, but you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the actual 75 hard. So you can just add an extra one on the day. And then I found these online, PDFs, where you don't have to pay for anything, and it's literally week 1, week 2, week 4, week 5, 6, and it goes through the entire 75 hard days. So you could print those out and actually use that instead. So you don't need the app. Sorry, you don't need the app. You don't need the power list. You just print this out. Or you just use a book yourself. It's something, one thing Andy says is he's not doing this, the 75 hard, for you to go pay for the book, pay for the app and all that. He says you don't need it. But some people like these sorts of things. So there's sort of no pressure to think that you have to do it. And then I found another one, which is like going through who is this done by? I don't know who this was, the 101planners.com. Not affiliated in no way, but it was a free PDF. And again, there's all the information for you to fill in. So this is, you put in, you write down what it is you've achieved. And then so with the book itself, the power list is literally just that book, a power list. And I've got this book and I've finished this now and I'm not using this. I'm actually using a Kindle, and I've actually created pretty much exactly what that is through Canva. And I sent that to my Kindle, and now I've duplicated all that PDF into days. So I can just use it over and over. The book I also recommend is the book on mental toughness, and it's a great book. And he says you don't need it, but it talks all about your mental toughness basically, and it goes into 75 hard. It goes into the Live Hard program. So I'm someone that likes to follow programs step by step and understand them in detail. So I decided to get the book. It's only $29 US. It's usually always sold out. He doesn't seem to have many copies, but it looks like it's available at the moment. So I'd recommend, the book itself. And again, I get nothing from it. So it's not like I'm recommending you to buy, from Andy Frisella so he can make money. It's got, I'm not going to make any money from referring it either. But yeah, that's another good option. And the final option too is Andy Frisella owns the company First Form, and this is the app. So it's called First Form. I've had mixed experiences. I'll talk about that quickly. So First Form is his actually company. And that's, in Australia, if you were to think of the Nutrition Warehouse. So he has all these sorts of supplements. I think he turns over 200-300 million in America. So a very successful business. And, you don't hear much about, if anything, in the actual through 75 hard. He might talk about it in his book, but there's no pressure, or he'll want you to support it. But I find things like this in Australia, I'd rather support local companies like Nutrition Warehouse or something like that. If you do get into that protein stuff and powders and workouts and focus supplements and greens and all that sort of stuff. But the First Form app is actually really interesting. I had a mixed experience. So I think if you're struggling with your fitness, if you're struggling with your mental state, I would actually definitely recommend using this app, because you actually get a trainer to talk to. You actually get to video or email your trainer whenever you want. Initially, when I joined, it was actually really good. I could contact the trainer. There was a response, there was a reply. I think basically once you get on there after 6 months, they realize you've been on there for a while, and then they focus on other people, because I found the actual replies to be minimal or not answered. But initially, it was excellent. And it was like having a personal trainer on tap. You literally had someone that you could actually answer to, or ask questions and send a video, and he would send a video back to you. I had an excellent trainer by the name of Quan, but I just found that probably, definitely not his fault, because Quan was excellent. He was great to work with. I think his real name was Shaquan, and he preferred to be Quan, but I had a bad experience in the end with the actual app from a bugs. It was just doing things that it wasn't supposed to be doing. And then I was told that, you're one of the only ones, or not the only one, very few that had this problem. And I'm like, well, I was a bit annoyed by the reply, in the sense that it was like, well, this is the problem I have. I'm not lying about it. But anyway, it is what it is. But it's a really good app, because the fact is so what it is with the app itself, you can track your nutrition which I think is fantastic for 75 hard. So you can put in your proteins, carbs. And I think it's really good to understand what you're eating, whether it be fats, proteins, carbs, and the amount of calories. So that's really good for 75 hard. And then you can put in the actual 75 hard tasks. So, you can actually put those steps in there if you want in the front page, and you tick them off when you achieve them. And then obviously you've got chat one-on-one with an advisor. And then you can actually have gym. So you can actually have a workout program in there, and you can select different programs to actually work on for the week, and they just roll over and so forth. There's even some stuff on there about food, and they even had videos weekly and on all sorts of topics, which are pretty cool. So that's another one, which might help you for your journey on 75 hard. Other than that, that's it. I think I've talked way too long, but for me personally, it was something that I really enjoyed, and I'll be doing it again. I'm actually probably going to start it back up this time in the end of August. So I'll be September, October, November. I'll be finished in November and not going through Christmas. And looking forward to it. And if you've got any questions, as always, send them in the comments or reach out direct to us on email, support@divorcedownunder.com.au. Doesn't have to be divorce related, doesn't have to be separation related. This sort of stuff I love, and I'm hoping to share more of it in the future. And thank you for listening to this the Divorce Down Under show, and see you next time for a new episode of Divorce Down Under. Until then, goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Divorce Down Under, the Aussie way, helping you navigate a fresh start after divorce. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a review from wherever you are watching or listening, and don't forget to share this with your friends. Also, let us know what you want to hear in future episodes. See you next time for a new episode of Divorce Down Under.